What's up guys, Riley here, and today we're going to be adding a new chassis onto my C10. It's got the C10 body back on because the mount piece for this broke, but I've got some Velcro, so I might be able to figure out how to put it back on. So we'll be swapping a new chassis onto this, so let's go ahead and get into what we're going to be doing. So, I've got the C10 here, and as you know, I've got this quite built. I've got links, skid plate, motor, steering servo, steering links, shocks, some mofo, flex blades, wheels, tires, brass wheel rings in the front, the stock aluminums in the back. I've got diff covers, and I've got some hot racing 4mm plus axles. I had this body on it, but that piece broke. But we have some Velcro now, so I might be able to figure out a way that I can mount it on. But I have this body on it, back on it, and in order for it to fit, even though I trimmed the fenders, I still had to put springs in it, because at first I was running no springs in these shocks. So now that I have springs in it, it is very top heavy, but I'm gonna run some Hyraxes on it. I've already ran these on it with just regular stock rims. I'm gonna put these rims on it with the Hyraxes. See how that does. Then I can take the springs out because the wheels won't be as big as the competition tires. But for today, because of it's so top heavy, I've got this. I decided to go with the Injora LCG chassis. It's my first LCG upgrade slash chassis for any rig, and so far it's looking pretty good. I'm very happy to get this in, and I can't wait to see the difference. So one problem is I didn't remember reading anything about it coming with the Velcro to put the body on, because it doesn't come with the regular mounts like the stock chassis comes with, or on the ESC tray, but it actually comes with the Velcro. So we got Velcro and didn't know, but it'll be alright because I can hopefully use it for this body, and my brother can use it for this truck. But I'm going to put this on off camera because I've never built an LCG chassis and I have no clue on how this thing goes together. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do some before runs, and then we'll do some after runs once I get it built. So there's not many parts on the crawler side of it that I'm worried about. It's just mostly the uphill, up and downhill inclines and stuff that I'm looking for performance in. Because that's just what I have the most problem with. This rope bridge loves to tip over. And I have a bit of a problem with it. There we go. I was able to get through that gap. So there is a gap right here because I didn't tie these down to a certain spot. So sometimes it just kind of slides down. So not too big of a deal. Now here's something that I really want to improve on. So let's go ahead and get into the kind of hill climb and decline. So if I get my truck turned around here. Now I do have a nice wide truck, so sometimes it takes a more than 1 point turn. But if I go and then I let off, it just flips over, which is kind of a problem. Now I can fix that by putting a rubber band on the rear and the front. I need a rubber band on both, but the drive shaft ate my rubber bands, which definitely was not nice. But we're gonna go ahead and go back up the incline. And this is where, as you see, I'm sliding, and hopefully an LCG chassis will help with that. No. Sometimes I can get it. There we go. I got up it. Now I'm looking to put the Hyraxes back on it, just so I can take the springs out and lower it some. But can't really do that right now. So sometimes I do have a problem going down this. Not all the time, but sometimes it likes to flip over. So I do, oh, just like that. So I do kind of have a problem with that. Very top heavy. Once it gets kind of flipped on its side some, it just does not want to go back to normal. There we go. So another problem is right here. I cannot get down this to save my life. No matter what line I take, my truck always flips over. Or always falls down it. It just won't do it. So even if I kind of swing wide, it would help if I didn't just put my axle off the other side. It just still wants to flip over. I'm trying to save it and gag it to keep it from flipping over. But as you see, it just flips over, no matter what I do. I just can't help it. But I think some of that it's because the rear end's lifting up because I don't have a rubber band. But the problem is with a rubber band, usually put it around the links, and the drive shaft catches it, and it just eats the rubber band up, and then the rubber band snaps or whatever. But there was a little bit of a climb. Wasn't much, but it was, for me, that's all I needed. I've ran this course. It's nice and convenient. I know how it works. So it was very nice to be able to run it here. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get not all of the parts on it. I'm gonna get the LCG chassis on it, and we're gonna come back and do another testing. So I'll see you in a second. So here is the truck. And so far it turned out good. Since it was my first chassis swap, it was a little tough for me, just trying to figure things out. My ESC, because I could not find a place to put the ESC on this, because it won't fit between this brace piece and the top one, because of this little bar right there. It won't go there, because it's just barely not enough room, so I velcroed it to the transmission. So it's a little loose, but it'll be fine until I can figure out where to put that or how to put it. Some of you may be wondering how this is a LCG chassis. Well, I don't have the frame rails on me right now. They're not in the shop. I worked on this inside, so I didn't lose any screws. But so far what I've seen is the battery would usually be up here, because the battery tray sits up away from the frame. So it'd usually be sitting up here, and now it's sitting like right there with the frame rail. The ESC, not really worried about that. But other than that, I don't really know how it would be in LCG chassis. Maybe this part's lower, but I couldn't really tell. There is one thing with the body fitment on this. So as you see, that's the mount, the Velcro mount. and this is also for a deadbolt chassis. So it covers everything except for the Gladiator. So the front frame rails are like super short. Well, because that Velcro piece is so far back, I have to put it right there. And right there, it actually kind of curves in to go to the windshield. So sometimes it doesn't really get a good connection. Another thing is, I don't exactly prefer the body mount, or not body, but shock mounting positions. I like them lower than they are. And one, because the shocks are mounted higher, my body rubs a little more. So I'll be turning and it sucks the body under like this. So that's a downside as of right now. But I will be swapping the Hyraxes back onto it, just for home use, and I'll put the Steelies, beadlocks, whatever you want to call them, in the Hyraxes. And that'll should allow me to get enough clearance from the body. I do have this body trimmed, but it's still not enough clearance. I ran it before this video. I haven't really done any tuning to it shock-wise. I'm gonna run it like this because so far it doesn't seem too bad, and I've seen a little bit of an improvement, and I'm sure if I do a little bit of tuning, I'm sure that I will be able to find that it has more out of it and be able to get more performance out of this chassis. But other than that, I kind of prefer the stock frame rails just because I know them. I know, how they work. So I think my next build, I'll probably, or this build, I might swap the chassis again, put the stock frame rails on, and get the Grizzly Works LCG kit. Haven't looked at it. Cape Crawlers uses it a lot, I think. I know just about most of his builds have it, fairly certain. But I think I might go with that on the stock frame rails for this. But other than that, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to get into running. Because I am very excited to show y'all some of the performance. So here we are at the outdoor course, and y'all might know this is one of the spots that I really was looking forward to improving in. It's not a big difference because I don't have my truck set up, but here is the beginning. So those of you that have seen this track before may or may not have a video up on it yet. I might not, like I said. Once my truck would get to this, it would just sit there and spin. Right here, just in this area, it's a little slick, but it's doing a little better. For another spot that I really wanted to improve in is right here on this spiral, just trying to get down it. If I can drive it right, I did it this morning. I got pretty close to making it down. Set. Do get stuck in that little spot right there. It's a little big for the truck. So it tries, yes, but it doesn't seem to do it. So I'm thinking that I need a little more weight in the back. So we're kind of going down some. Now, can't go down it still. It's definitely better. Before you'd get right there and it just kind of roll down. Going up it, now the turn radius is not the best for this. And if I don't get swallowed up by that hole, reset. Try and stay up some. There we go. So I definitely noticed a lot less spinning, and there's dirt on this now. It was a lot more powdery dirt, so it was very slick, where the tires would just run over the dirt and the dirt would fall over. But so it's a little more slick, not as much grip. The only thing I run into is that hole right there. I can usually get my front wheel over and sometimes my back wheel, but as you see right there, I did pretty good. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not. So there's a little bit of performance gain. For the price, I think it's good to get so far. Now, if I bring it over here on the rock course, this is the only problem that I do have. So going back to earlier, where the body rubs, that's the only problem I have in the rock course, because the flex makes it even worse. I am catching So, as you see right there, the body's kind of folded up under the wheel. And it's pulling it down. I don't really think that the regular body post would fix that. But I'll turn around for you guys. And we'll go back this way. This way is a little bit easier. There we go. So it does pretty good on the rock course. I don't think I ever really had a bad or any problems on this rock course part. It's not too hard other than going this way, just because it's kind of like a wall over here. But so far I kind of like the chassis, but like I said, I do prefer the stock chassis because I know it better. But that just means I need to learn how to use this chassis, and what's nice is we'll be out here and I can just open it up when I need to work on it or look at something, adjust something or whatever. One thing is I put the chassis on my little brother's truck. We got 2 of them and he doesn't have flex blades, so we had to put spacers on the shocks because they were binding super bad, but that'll be in a different video. So far, I like this chassis. It works good. I'm going to do some tuning. I'll do a tuning video with it, moving shocks and stuff, putting the Hyraxes back on it. I will still use this for competition and put the competition body on it, which is either the Silverado or the Dragula, I think I'm going to call it, the rat rod type build, if I can get that fixed. But so far I like it. Other than that, it's pretty cheap. It's carbon fiber, which is awesome. But other than that, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys later.